Okay, I just finished turn one. I'm going to do a quick overview video. There's a couple things I forgot to show on the previous turn videos because I forgot to place the units from Fighting Railroads, and I'm not sure if I mentioned how my seaplanes look because they're a little bit off, and I didn't buy any fancy sculpts. So here we go. I got a medium bomber on a blue chip. That's a seaplane. I gave every nation, every major power, a seaplane. I also gave the Netherlands a seaplane in Java. And I wasn't sure, this is an extra. I gave Australia a seaplane. We'll see how that works out. I figured they had an opportunity to probably use one the most, but there it goes. So if it didn't fit in the capital, it got put to the nearest coastline with a base as per how we normally do it in the rules. Alright, so Fighting Railways, I have this armored train here. That would be obviously an armored train. These things were 75 cents for, I think, 5 of them, so I bought these artillery pieces instead of the actual railgun pieces that Historical Board Gaming had on sale. And I like them because they are exactly the same size, shape, color, and appearance of the armored train car. So it's quite distinctive that that is a rail piece and it's not a regular land unit. Then you have your rail pieces here, and you have damaged rail pieces. Now, I'm going to show you guys an example of where the rail pieces would be handy. And this is just a prime example here for, oh, and my camera's just drifting. Prime example for Britain. So if you're Britain, you have rail here, you have rail there, but it doesn't cross this border into this territory, right? So if you want to get something from your factory in South Africa, all the way up to, say, Cairo, you're going to only be able to bring it so far, then you got to move it by land, and then you can strategic rail move it again. So since there's no mountains here, you just buy a rail for $4 to cross that border, and then you do the same thing over here for $4 to cross that border, and voila, you now have for $8 a rail that goes from this factory all the way up to Cairo. And technically, actually, that rail goes all the way up through and into Europe and everywhere, into France and Russia and whatnot. Right, handy thing to do. Another option if you're looking for something to do with this rail is you could do the same thing if you're Russia. It comes down in here, you put a rail right here on this border. Because it's mountains, it's going to cost 8 instead of 4. And you connect this rail line to this rail line. Now you can place a naval port or something down there, or a factory, and it is in supply. Right, there's some options. That's just a couple of really basic, simple options that are available. Right, so this rail expansion can be rather handy. Same thing for Italy, if you want to add the rail to connect these two, and then you take over that one, and you just, there, look, the rail goes all the way across, right? And rail stays even if it gets captured, it doesn't get destroyed. So there you go. And use strategic bomb rail for the equivalent of its capacity. So in Europe, the capacity is 4. So any piece of rail in Europe, you just say, hey, I took a strategic bomber down here and we bombed the rail. There we go, it's a damaged rail. And it's worth 4 damage. So we'll put a 3 and a 1 counter down for a total of 4. Done. And I can't use that rail until you pay it off. So technically this naval base is no longer in supply from the factory, so you cannot place a unit there. Just that simple. Yeah, not exactly the examples you may use every day, but some brief examples. Alright, so there we go. That's the Fighting Railways. And as we move along here, we've also, I'm just going to pan over previously done a video that showed each turn as they played, and it's anywhere between 30 seconds to a couple minutes long. And I just spliced them all together, and it showed the turn, and I discussed the strategy of what I was doing as each person, as each power or player. I think that will suffice, but for those of you that are not interested in that, I'm just going to do a turn summary as well at the end of the turn, and let's get into it right now. Okay, so first let's start with Germany. Germany built 2 Marines, an airborne, saved some money, and did a tech roll. Didn't really move too much. Oh, and built the sub here too. Didn't do too much for movement. What it did do is it moved this coastal sub here and the sub there. All right, Russia. Russia's movement, it actually took this navy that's here out of there, because you never know what's going to happen, and that navy could get trapped behind Denmark. So they took it out. They can do whatever they want with it, but it's out. This navy also could get trapped behind those straits there, but we'll see what happens. Russia just built a single infantry and saved some money and did a tech roll as well. So nothing too amazing. Moved a couple guys around in here, but just basically moved guys that were scattered across the winds, either towards the borders or towards the city. Japan has built light tank here, light tank there, and an advanced marine. Paid for a tech roll. The Navy didn't really move. The few transports moved in here just to move all the loose transportable infantry and vehicles, etc. over to Jahal. Same with all the stuff that was loose in here. I'd rather not lose it in a border skirmish with Russia, and I'd rather place it in a place where it's able to be scooped up by transports and either attack somewhere else like the Netherlands or the British or the Americans, or roll in on China. The Air Force from here also flew into this air base in Korea. That way it's closer in. And that includes this seaplane here. Alright, what else happened here? By order of turn, we got Britain next. These guys just saved their $3 and collected $3, so now they got 6, so they can actually afford to buy something that's not an infantry. And they've got their seaplane as well. Netherlands only had $1, so they collected another $1. Now they have 2, so they just didn't really do much. They just saved their money. Alright, Far East Command, this moved back this light carrier from over here. Put this destroyer over here on escort duty. Not much else happened. Built an infantry. United Kingdom built or upgraded this factory to a medium. I'm using the reds for mediums here. So it was a minor, now it's a medium. Couldn't build anything because it was upgraded this turn. So there you go. They moved these 2 ships out of the Med and put one of them on escort duty. And they placed one over here on escort duty and built a marine. That's all they did, and did a tech roll as well. France, these folks here are stuck on that ship. They came from Saigon. They're on the way to France. They're just not useful over there. Maybe they'll take out a German unit over here or something, if Germany goes for France first. I used a transport down here, brought it up with a single guy from northern Algeria, laid him out here, built an infantry, and did a tech roll. So that's basically all that's happened here. Italy had no transports, so what we did is we just did a tech roll, saved the $5, and now next turn it's got 12, so it can afford to buy a transport because Italy has no transports. And so it couldn't even take this worthless Albania. And down here, Italians moved in on Abyssinia. They lost an infantry and took out 2 militia. So but they were already at war with these guys, so that doesn't count for Italy changing any politics or anything like that. Alright, now I'm down to Italy. Who else do I got left? I've got the US. Really not exciting for the US. They saved their money and did a tech roll. their seaplane is located in the capital of Washington there. Otherwise, nothing really happened with them. It's still too early and nobody's threatening anybody, so we're just, you know, you don't know, you don't want to spend too much on one side or the other, and it doesn't hurt for the U.S. to have a little bit of money in the bank in case they need to lend lease it to somebody or start building some units. China. The KMT built 2 cavalry in here. Love this spot because it's connected to everything there, and there. So it's got 7 territories it's supporting. It's literally the hub location of China. So that gives them some attack power if they don't roll a 10 or higher and then run away. Yeah, China's got some weird rules like that. Communist China, they just collected their $2 again, so now they have 4. I forgot to do their recruitment roll, so maybe I'll do that. And in here with Spain, the yellow is the communists as well. I did nothing with these guys. I also did nothing with the gray German controlled guys. So this coming turn, I'm gonna have to get that stuff figured out. So that's where we sit. And yeah, because I have that rule where each major power able to buy 1 tech roll per turn before July 39. So it's successful tech rolls. I'm just going to show those. Germany got jets, heavy bombers for the Americans. French and Japanese both got wartime economy, and improved shipyards was started for Britain. And I've already gone over which ones they already have. So when 39 kicks in, July 39, I'll show you what techs are available at that time, if anything else moves forward. All right, so that was the turn. We're now going to be on January 37. And the only income increases were annexation of Austria for Germany. I forgot to mention that. So they went up $2. And as a result of the annexation, the British went up $1. So they went from 11 to 12 and from 20 to 22. That's it. That's the turn. These early turns aren't too dramatic unless somebody starts really moving their stuff around. And yeah, I've seen somebody in the first turn attack London with Germany, or second turn after, or something like that. And they totally destroyed London, but then they went too early and they have no units, so they've activated everybody else and they just can't outcompete the spending of everybody else. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do that with Germany, maybe not. Depends on what kind of openings present themselves. Yeah, there's a few more annexations to go, and we'll see what happens the next turn. It'll be January 1937. And see you then.